Hello and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Oh boy, we're going to have a great night tonight. Thank you all for coming. And tonight we got Native American myths and legends. And it's going to be a good night tonight. We're going to be talking about the Pueblo Indians. If you're wondering where my co-host is, David is feeling under the weather tonight. So with that, we are live and going. But anyhow, tonight we're going to be talking about the Pueblo Indians, and we're going to be reading cards and all that good stuff. So bear with me because I don't have my trusty co-host here to, keep up the good work that he does while he gives you blessings and peace and whatever, because he's the one with that saying. But anyway, thank you for coming tonight. Tonight we got a full load of pictures to show you. I got so much to share, tons and tons and tons of stuff. So anyway, we should probably start with that. Anyhow, yeah, lots of going on. We got a good story for you tonight. Don't know, but anyway, okay, let's get right on with this. So we're going to be talking about the Pueblo Indians, and I have to share the screen. There we go. Pueblo Indians. Who were the Pueblo Indians? They were North American Indians, people known for living in compact, permanent settlements, known as Pueblos, representative of Southwest Indian culture area, most in northeastern Arizona and northwestern New Mexico. I don't know if you know where Taos, New Mexico, Taos is. That's where they were quite settled there. Early in the 21st century, population estimates indicated approximately 75,000 individuals of Pueblo descent. Go figure. Anyway, there was quite a few of them. And we're going to go this way. The Pueblo people are thought to be the descendants of prehistoric ancestral Pueblos, the Anasazi. Who would have thought that? And the Anasazi, as we know, were those cliff-dwelling people. So anyway, and Chloe's in the house. Thank you for coming. Pueblo people are thought to be the descendants of prehistoric ancestral Pueblos, the Anasazi culture, which go back thousands of years, just as there was considerable regional diversity among the ancestral Pueblolian. You can say that twice fast. There are similar diversity, both cultural and linguistic amount. The contemporary Pueblo peoples, contemporary Pueblonians, are customarily described as being to either the Eastern or the Western division. The Eastern Pueblo villages are in New Mexico along the Rio Grande and comprise groups who speak Teotihuacan and Kursan languages. The Teotihuacan language, such as the Tew, are distantly related to the Uto-Aztecian, or the Kursan, has no known affiliates. The Western Pueblo villages include the Hopi villages of northern Arizona and the Zuni, the Acoma, and Laguna villages, all in western New Mexico. Of the Western Pueblo peoples, Acoma and the Laguna speak Kursan. I think that's Kursan. Yeah. The Zuni speak Zuni, a language of the Puertoan affiliation. Okay, each of the 70 or more Pueblo villages extant before the Spanish colonization was politically autonomous, governed by a council composed of the heads of religious societies. Those societies were centered in the kivas, subterranean ceremonial chambers that also function as private clubs and lounging rooms for men. Traditionally, Pueblo peoples were farmers, with the types of farming associated traditions of property ownership varying among the groups. Along the Rio Grande and its tributaries, and the corn, maize, and cotton were cultivated and irrigated fields and river bottoms. Among the Western Pueblolians, especially the Hopi, farming was less reliable because there were few permanent water sources. Traditionally, women did most of the farming, but as hunting diminished in importance, men also became responsible for agriculture work. Many of the Rio Grande Pueblolians had special hunting societies that hunted deer and antelope in the mountains, and easterly Pueblolians, such as the Taos and the Picuries, sometimes sent hunters to the plains for bison or buffalo. Among all Pueblo's peoples, communal rabbit hunts were held, and women, oh, I guess that's where that one ran out. And Scotty Boy's in the house. There you go. Women claimed the Pueblo region the Spanish claimed the Pueblo region for Spain. Explorer Francisco Vázquez de Conrado, yeah, almost sounds like Colorado, followed in 1540. Quickly and brutally pacifically, all indigenous resistance. Yes, he stamped them out. In 1860, the Tiwa man, the Pope, led the Pueblo rebellion against the Spanish, the colonizers, and they retreated from the region for several years, but completed a reconquest in 1691. Yeah, when the Spanish or the Americans, they always retreat. They regather their forces and they come back twice as hard. That's what seems to happen every single time. And the Indians just go back to their normal way of life, and then they get clubbed, Subsequently, most villages adapted to colonial rule through adopted and incorporated those aspects of the dominant culture necessary for survival. Under this regime, while maintaining the basic fabric of traditional culture, historical examples of Pueblo synchronism included the addition of sheep and sheep herding to the agriculture economy and the adoption of some Christian religious practices. Of course, the practices would have to be there. And anyway, contemporary Pueblo peoples continue to use syncretic strategies. They have adopted a variety of modern convenience products, yet they extensively retain their traditional kingship systems, religion, and craft. Social life centers on the village, which is also the primary political unit. Kinship plays a fundamental role in social and religious life. In the 21st century, Pueblo communities, it may delimit an individual's potential marriage partners and often determines eligibility for membership in religious societies and a wide variety of social and economic obligations. Kinship is typically reckoned through the lineage, a group that shares a common ancestor. And there you go. Today, Pueblo people continue to use syncretic strategies. They have adopted a variety of modern. Oh, I read that part already. Oh, look at that. Early in the 20th century, kinship studies indicated some Pueblos may have more than 30 clans at a time. They were often grouped into two larger units or monies. The clans of the eastern Pueblos are organized into contemporary montes, known respectively as the summer people and winter people, the Tanoans, or the turquoise people, and the squash people. These groups alternate responsibility for Pueblo activities, and their secret societies deal primarily with curing rituals. In contrast, the Western Pueblonians are organized into several martiling lineages and clans, secret societies, each controlled by a particular clan, perform a calendarical cycle of rituals to ensure reign and tribal welfare. Many Pueblo peoples continue to practice the Kachina religion, a complex belief system in which hundreds of divine beings act as intermediaries between humans and God. Well, there you go. Well, there you go. Okay, Pueblo Rebellion. Let's find out how they rebelled. In 1680, I got dyslexia. Carefully organized revolt of Pueblo Indians in league with the Apaches. Remember, we talked about the Apaches last week. Who succeeded in overthrowing Spanish rule in New Mexico. For 12 years, and a traditionally peaceful people, the Pueblos had endured much after New Mexico's colonization in 1598. Catholicism was forced on them by missionaries who burned their ceremonial pits, the kivas, masks, and other sacred objects. Indians were tried in Spanish courts and received severe punishments, hanging, whipping, and dismemberment. They chopped off their hands and feet for condemnation. They put them into slavery too. They were evil people. From 1645 on, there were several abortive revolts, each of which medicine men were especially singled out for their reprisals. One medicine man, Pope of San Juan, Pueblo, embittered by imprisonment, believed himself commanded by the tribal ancestor spirits, the Kachinas, to restore the old customs. On August 10th, 1680, he led a full-scale revolt in which almost all the Pueblos participated. See, if you unite together, you can do anything. On August 21st, the Spaniards were forced to flee, leaving 400 dead, including 21 priests. The Indians celebrated their victory by washing off stains of Christian baptism, annulling Christian marriages, and destroying churches. They remained free until 1692. So it was a good 12-year run, wasn't it? When New Mexico was conquered by Governor Pedro de Varas. Yeah, you don't get away with that very long, huh? When the Pueblo tribes first encountered Spanish colonizers in the 16th century, the Zunis were living in Hawkeye and 6 other towns. Collectively, these towns came to be called the 7 cities of Cibola, hosted to be a rumored empire of gold that was sought in vain by Francisco Vázquez de Corado and another conquistadors. In 1680, the Zuni and other Pueblo tribes defeated the Spanish through the Pueblo Rebellion. The tribes retained their independence until 1691, when the Spanish reconquered the area. Yeah, they brought bigger guns. Zuni society is organized through kinship and includes 13 real clans. Like other Pueblo people, the Zuni are deeply religious and have a complex ceremonial organization. Religious life centers on gods or spirits beings called Kachinas. Oh, yeah. Most Zuni farms raise corn, maize, which is maize, squash, and beans since the early 19th century. The Zuni have been known for making silver and turquoise jewelry. Those are those people that sit along the roadside, sell you that stuff. Making silver and turquoise jewelry, baskets, beadwork, animal fetishes, and pottery, all of very high quality. Many Zuni have chosen to adopt only some parts of modern American life to maintain much of their traditional culture. That's why they sit along the roadside and sell you that silver and turquoise stuff. In the early 21st century, the population of Zuni Pueblo was some 10,000 individuals. Cliff dwelling houses. The cliff dwelling houses a prehistoric ancestral Puebloans, the Anasazi people of the Southwest United States, built along the sides or under the overhangs of cliffs, primarily in the Four Corners area, where the present states of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah meet. These masonry dwellings are associated with the ancestral Pueblo culture, period known as Pueblo III, approximately between 1150 and 1300 BC or AD. The first ancestral Puebloans were nomadic foragers, whose economy relied upon hunting and gathering wild foods. When they became sedentary, began to cultivate corn, maize, and also began to build circular pits as storage bins. Later, they reinforced the bins with stone walls and covered them with roofs, and some individuals began to use the structures as homes. Once they had developed farming techniques adequate to the arid climate and were able to live completely on corn, squash, and beans and cotton they grew, the ancestral Puebloans established permanent communities and began to build their houses above ground. Cliff dwellings are a accumulation of these architectural developments. The use of hand-hewn stone building blocks, the principal construction material. The adobe mortar was unsurpassed even in later buildings. Ceilings were built by laying 2 or more large crossbeams and placing on them a solid line of lats made of smaller branches. The latter layers were then plastered over with the same adobe mixture, frequently used as mortar. Edifices several stories high were built with each succeeding story set back from the one below, creating a row of terraces on each level and giving the structure a stepped appearance. Residential rooms measured about 10 by 20 feet. Well, you didn't get a big room. Those were small rooms. Of course, people were small. Entrance to the ground floors was by a ladder. So if you were crippled, you stayed on the bottom floor. It was held by the ladder. People used the ladder to climb to the roof of the room, and then descended into the room through an opening cut into its ceiling rooms on upper floors. And it could be entered by doorways from adjoining rooms and by additional roof ceiling entrances. Each community had 2 or more kivas, or ceremonial rooms, usually round in early times, but later square. Well, go figure. They had a penthouse with really, really small rooms. Although earlier ancestral Puebloan villages were built in the open, these people began to build cliff dwellings around 1150, perhaps as a defense against invading groups of an ancestral Navajo and Apache. In addition to the natural protection provided by the cliff, the absence of doors and windows to the rooms on the ground floor left a solid outer stone wall that could be surmounted only by climbing a ladder. Ladders could easily be removed if the town were attacked. I call bullshit on that one. Because if you built it in a cliff, you could just be surrounded. It doesn't matter if they could get up there or not. They're Indians. They climb good. So they shoot arrows through the windows, only by climbing ladders. And ladders could easily be removed if the town were attacked. Many smaller communities joined together to form the large towns built beneath the cliffs. 2 of the largest, the Cliff Palace at Mesa Verde National Park in Colorado, and the 5-story Pueblo Bonito in New Mexico, probably had about 150 and 800 residential rooms, respectively. As the 13th century ended, the ancestral Puebloans abandoned the cliff dwellings for other sites. The examination of tree trunks from the period using chronology indicates that a severe drought occurred in the region between 1276 and 1299. Often referred to as the Great Drought, this climate event probably occasional crop failures and shortages of drinking water, creating difficulties in provisioning and concentrated population living in the cliff dwellings. Wow, that's quite a long time. 70s, that's almost 25 years of drought. Imagine 25 years of no rain. And here's some of their cliff dwellings right here. Here you go. And there we go. Anyway, I'm going to stop sharing for a second and say hi to all of you. Give you the update. David is not here tonight since you're all coming in a little bit late. David is not here tonight. He is feeling a little bit under the weather. So I said, don't worry about it. I got it covered. But if any one of you wanted to join me, I would be happy to have you as a co-host tonight. Like I said, it's one of those nights, and we are, there we go. There, back to normal. So if anyone of you wanted to join me tonight and come on, be my co-host, you just let me know. I will send you a link. I got my email up, so if you email me, I will send you a link there. I don't know how to put the one into the thing. I can do that on the, but anyway. So if you want to do that, I want to big shout out to Hammer Dawn's in the house, and Travis the Brick, Chloe, who's about to eat a Subway sandwich. Sorry, Chloe. Michelle Can-Am Free, thank you for coming. Much love to you, Scotty Boy. I'm reading the comments. Love your comments. Thank you guys for all coming tonight. It's not the elderberries in the house. Yeah, it's just not the same without David here. It's kind of lonely. I hate to say it, but it's kind of lonely to be on doing Native American myths and legends without my co-host David Null. So wishing him well. So send him much healing energy. Because he needs it, and get him better fast. That's what we want to do. Also, send Isby some healing energy. And I haven't heard from him for a while, but he's doing some healing too. He wanted some lion's mane, so if you have his address or you need it, send some out to him. He wants to cure his brain. Remember, he's going through some cancer, broke his hip or leg, his femur or something. He broke his leg, put it that way. Talk about him with me, right? Like the under the weather. I wish I had but anyway, yes, under the weather. That's a good way to put it, that he's not feeling good. But anyway, let's see what else is going on. Okay, I got a lot more stuff, and we'll get back to the pictures. But I wanted to show you all of that. Where was I with the pictures here? Okay, back to sharing the screen. Boom. There we go. And share. Here we go. And as you can see by this is some of the Pueblos. You can see the steps. So these are more modern. And you would build here, then you build on top of there, and you have a nice little terrace, and you build on top of there. And you just keep adding on until you got a big giant house. Now, maybe they just imitated and copied some of these, but they have, these are the cliff dwellings. But see, I just don't understand why you would build all this and, build your windows and doors way up here. Or in the first place, why would you build under a cliff unless the sun is, that's almost a whole nother show. Okay, well, here you go. Well, Amber, don't worry. All I need is a co-host, somebody to comment. And okay, so I'm going to stop share for a second here, and I gotta find this here. Let's see, what was I doing? There. Anyway, there we go. Got to do my thing, but thank you everybody for being here tonight. And there. So I'm a little slow tonight. There we go. Voila. There it is, down the road. Back to the show. Email the link. Yeah, I already sent it out, Amber. It is out there. Like I said, just come on and, hear the stories, comment a little bit. If you want to read read a story, I'll send you an email and you can read it off of there or whatever you want to do. I got one pulled up. Anyway, we got to get back to sharing the screen. Share screen. Oh, I'll put this thing up. There we go. Share. Now let's get back to talking about cliff dwellings. Look at that. Ain't that kind of cool? For being back hundreds of 1,000 years. I need to be. Yes. Yes, Chloe, he is a little bit stubborn. And I'm sure he will. I know he had an appointment, Chloe. I know he had an appointment to go. How did I do that? Anyway, yeah, I do like this. Anyway, yeah, Chloe, I know he had to go and do his thing. And how do I? Okay, I'm gonna stop share for a second. Again, don't know what I did wrong there, but I might have done something wrong, Amber. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I did it wrong. And then we'll go back here and I'll do it again. There we go. Maybe that one's better. Sorry, everybody. Just doing my thing. There. Oh, there. We'll try it again. Voila. Second time's a charm. Usually David's here to cover up all those times when I'm driving the bus, see? And then that way you don't even know what I'm doing. But tonight you get to see all the good stuff because I can't fudge it. Anyway, okay, Amber, it's sent out a second time. So there you go. Room block plaza. Okay, so here's what their houses. Remember how we looked at all the other houses and the Indian, the teepees and stuff? Well, and again, instead of making a chimney, they just put a hole in the roof. They just think so simply. A door and a hole in the roof. But again, they're making these things out of the materials that they have on hand. Pit houses, probably to store their food underground or storage areas. You got your buildings, you got your corn crop out back. What more could you want? Here is, now this picture is really important. This picture is more of their adobe houses. You notice the levels built on top and top and top. I'd hate to be this guy. You'd have a really long climb to get to his house. But this big dome thing, we're going to be talking about this big dome thing sitting out front of us here. So in a little bit. And they got ladders, so they don't have to, they don't have this stairs. They haven't invented the stairs, just ladders. Okay, so then we got old pictures. I tried to find lots of old pictures. Their native dress, and as you can see, their houses out back. Some of these things probably are really old. I mean, they look really, compared to other Indian groups with teepees and stuff, these buildings look really good. And this is what you would see if you went to see them. Santa Clara Pueblo Indians, New Mexico. At least they have their houses look very clean. Very clean houses. Nice family. They don't look very tall. Okay, more cliff dwellings. As you notice, the rounded structures, round structures, big pit area. Don't know why, but that's the way it is. More cliff dwellings. Notice they got 3 stories here. It's just very ingenious of building into the rocks. There we go. But built right into the rocks. Very cool. You can get a good look at that. Look at, you can see the nice square windows. Now you got the lady with her, and she's got this bowl on her hat, if you can see that. There you go. Let's stop share for a second, and I got Amber Dawn joining me. Well, there
Hi.
you are. Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. Sorry, it's loud right now. My mom's doing dishes, so.
That's all right. My dogs will probably be barking here sooner or later. But anyway, thanks for coming on. We can look at these pictures together and comment on them.
Wait.
And and like I said, it's kind of what we're doing here. As you know how the drill goes. I read about these Indians, and then we comment, on their pictures and notice little things like this lady here. I noticed when I that she carries this pot on top of her head. Now, you live out more southwest than me than down that way. Have you ever seen any of these types of pots or any of these types of people carrying things on their heads, or why would they do that?
I've never seen things like on people's heads particularly, but I've seen those pots sold and stuff,
Oh, really?
I think it's just to free up their hands so that they can do other things.
Yeah, there. Well, that's probably true. Probably true. I got more pictures of these ladies with pots, and these people raised sheep that were brought from the New World over and introduced them by the Spanish. And as you can see, this guy looks like he's a missionary. He's got his bald head. He's a monk of some sort. He's carrying his Bible, and he's telling these guys, hey, raise these sheep up, Don't, this little kid's got a little bow in his hand. This kid over here, guy, is pulling the garden. This guy over here is tending the sheep. This lady, doesn't she look like she's got a baby in her arms or something? Kind of, something like that.
Yeah, or another pot or something. Yeah.
Oh, that could be a pot too. Looks like there's a town or another big building over in the distance here too. A lot of times these old pictures, they really tell you a heck of a story sometimes. But anyway.
Yeah, they're doing work like I've been doing all day.
Yeah, it's that time of year. It's starting to garden. I am getting so itchy to go out there and garden, but it's still kind of cold. Next week, we're around the first week of May or so. It's starting to warm up in the 60s and 70s, and then the ground will be warm enough to plant.
Heck yeah. Yes.
But, oh yeah, exactly. Now these Indians, as I was mentioning earlier, they are all about planting crops. They were crop growers. They weren't much, as I can tell, as fighters. They did fight off the Spanish, but then after that, they just didn't get to be the fighters of, they were more of a passive living it. I mean, think about it. You weren't roaming around in your adobe Pueblo hut, you got to stay put kind of thing. And yeah. So anyway, from what
some people
I know,
are warriors and some people are not,
Yeah, well, I think because they were not nomadic. They just grew crops. They weren't much on the horsemen either. They did have horses, but they were more of growing stuff. And here's a lady, and you can see they always have these pretty blankets with the nice, color patterns. And I noticed too, and here's another one with one of those bowls. And I noticed that she has her hair up in these cool looking braids, like, something you'd see out of the 60s or 40s or something, these big braids like that.
Buns.
A bun. Yes. Only a woman would know that answer. See?
Oh, of course. That's what I'm here for.
Scotty says it'll be hundreds by Friday down by him. Well, send some of that warm air up here, Scotty boy.
It'll come there in due time, my friend.
I noticed these Indians, they wear a lot of jewelry. Look she's got tons of necklaces on, earrings, and even a ring down here. You can see she's got a ring on. And bracelets and stuff. And one of those cool pots. But I don't see that on a lot of other Indians. Maybe the man Indians got some stuff on, but the women usually don't have so much jewelry. And here they are doing their Kachina dance or something. This is one of the older pictures. I like the older pictures because the newer pictures are always, kind of hyped up, for tourism. I always feel. Don't you think of it that way? I mean, do you ever been to a real Indian dance or anything like that? I really haven't, so I don't know. But.
No, I always picture with the feathers, with their dress caps on, and their bones, their necklaces made of bones, things like that.
Yeah.
I think it's all, typically it's made from animals, or because they don't like to waste things, so they want to honor the animal, so they wear them and they sing to them and dance for them and create more food, or more resources for them through their spirituality.
Oh, absolutely.
And they honor them.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, and you're right. It's not about wasting for them. Whereas, in our modern day lifestyle, we are kind of wasteful people. You buy stuff, and how much garbage do you take out every day?
A lot, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. I swear, even being by myself, I'd take at least one garbage bag out every day or every other day. And I'm thinking, not a big giant bag, but one of those kitchen, garbage cans full. And I'm thinking, where do I get all this garbage? But it seems everything is in wrapping paper or a box, or it's got, some kind of something to throw away.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to avoid. That's why, making wise decisions and like buying things that are in recyclable things, and, just trying to do that, but it's hard to avoid. So don't beat up on yourself too much.
Oh, I know. And I believe it or not, I'm a hoarder, kind of not one of them horrible bad hoarders that, have, well, but I might be someday. But the point is at the moment, I don't like throwing anything away that could be useful. And I was talking to somebody today and they said, oh, I'm not a hoarder like you. If I got something for a year and I don't use it, I donate it or throw it out. If it's no good, I throw it away. I don't save it. And I think about that and I think, well, who's worse? Me, who collects all this stuff and keeps it for a long time just in case they need to make it into something else or use it for parts or fix it or whatever, or the person who says, oh, it's broke, I'm going to go buy a new one. And then you look around their house and it's nice and clean and it's empty and everything works. And yet you look around my house, well, there's some things broken, but I got this for this and that for that. And yeah, it might be a little more cluttered, but who's worse? That's the question. What do you think?
It's pretty much to each their own. It's like if you know you're going to find use for something in the future, then why not keep it? If it's going to save resources and money and stuff, then it's okay to keep stuff. If it's been sitting there for 10 years and then maybe think about getting rid of it. But it's all to each their own. as long as it's
Yeah.
not to an unhealthy level and it's not cramping up your energetic space, then
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's the thing is in this day and age of recycling and all this other stuff, it's like I think, but it takes so much energy and it takes up landfill space. If hey, I got something that broke, I just throw it away and buy a new one. I don't throw it away and buy a new one. I try to fix it. So I don't know. I don't know which guy is doing the better job, but yeah, you're right. Each his own. Okay, let's move on with this. Oh, here, the Pueblos that lived in multi-terraced homes. They are kind of pretty homes, though. I mean, they do a good job on these homes. Look at nice square doors, windows, uh, very little wood constructed in these things. So, I mean, they're really
yeah, those
using,
are beautiful. That'd be really interesting and cool to experience living there for like a week and see what you thought, you know?
yeah, I mean, they are like the true earth home. Those earth homes they always talk about. They're like earth ships or whatever they call. This is literally made out of material that you would find in your area. You're digging up the dirt, you're taking a few logs, you're using the basics,
And you're
and
grounding every day. You're like constantly grounding in this energetic circuit of earth.
yeah, I never thought about that. No matter where you're standing on this building, you would be grounded. Oh, that is really thought. Yeah, that is really good. Okay. Shelter. The Pueblo Indians live. Pueblo. I can't say that fast. The Pueblo Indians lived in multi-story terraced buildings. These buildings were made from clay bricks that were baked in the sun. These bricks are called adobe. People used ladders to get into their homes, and in times of danger, they pulled up the ladders so the enemy couldn't get inside. Now they just fear bulldozers. I got to add a little humor into that. But look at these things. They're huge. I mean, the original skyscraper city builders, really. I mean, these kind of look like modern day homes in some ways.
Like it's like between a regular house and a mansion size. It's pretty big.
Yeah, but I wonder how many people actually live in here. I mean, is each one of these doorways a house? Is it like an
Yeah. I don't
apartment
know.
building, or it's like one guy here and he just added on and added on until he's got a huge house? I don't know.
But that's smart with the ladders. So they must be connected so they can get to the top and pull up the ladders, you know, so the rooms must all be connected somehow.
Yeah, yeah. Each layer of the floors. It is neat. It is neat. I bet you they stay cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter time too. With the rock, the clay heats up or block. I mean, you wouldn't have to worry about the wind blowing through your building. Not like
Exactly. Yeah.
not like a teepee or something like that or whatever. But here
You
you
don't
go.
see no furnaces on there.
Oh yeah, you just have your fire inside. Here's where
Yeah.
the ladies are with the pots. Remember, I wanted to get to the pot thing, and here they are walking around with their pots on their head. But as I was saying before, look at they were in all this jewelry and things I noticed with these people is they're very colorful, and I don't know if that's because we have color pictures now, or back in the day, were they colorful then too? That's what I would like to know. I mean, did they have those colors?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm just speculating here, but I would say no. They were probably a little bit duller because they didn't have the ability to, get all the dyes and stuff. But they probably still figured out, like bugs and stuff to squish to make dyes and different
Oh,
things and different plants and stuff to dye their. So I'm sure they had colorful outfits, but maybe not this vibrant. But I
hmm.
don't know. The
Well, they did
speculation.
they did have turquoise back then. I mean, that's a popular rock down in that area, I guess.
So beautiful. Yes,
Yeah. And
turquoise.
do you like turquoise?
Yes, yes. I made a really cool sorry, there's a truck going by. I made a really cool necklace. A friend, we did a trade and I made this really cool necklace out of turquoise, and I
Mhm.
put this like, it wasn't a Native American, it was more of a like Asian type pendant
Yeah.
on it, but we
Uh-huh.
traded. She did a energy healing on me and
Oh,
stuff, and it was more than energy healing. She used like this clay on me. She did muscle testing and everything,
oh
and
wow.
found out what I needed, and she would put these different herbs next to me and do muscle testing to see what my body wanted. And once she
Mhm.
figured that out, she put this clay onto my muscles and put the specific herb for each one. And yeah, and so we traded for a beautiful necklace. So
Wow. That's good. That's cool trading. That's the
yeah.
way to, that is really really in all respects, that's the way to do it. I don't, because when you do something like that, you appreciate it more, you know, and it comes from you. It ain't like, yeah, I just worked 5 hours and then here you go, here's some cash. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, and cash is good too, but yeah, for sure. Like she knew I couldn't afford how much I mean, something like that would have typically cost to be a couple $100s. And she knew back then I couldn't afford that. And so she was willing to, take something that I made for, because I made it for myself, because I loved it
Hmm.
so much. And I was like, this is going to be your gift.
Yeah.
So I think it's very special. You're right. It's like, it's more meaningful.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think society has taken away the meaning of things so much because of money. You go to work, you get money, and then you just pay bills with it, and you buy things that are whatever. And it, I don't think those things have as much meaning to them as if you traded with somebody or you did some work and got something for it.
I
You know
like
what I mean?
that too. I'm more of a trader too. Like not a yeah, that sounded bad, but yeah, I'm like that too. Like
Yeah.
I'll do work for you. I'll clean your house. Like, I
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff because it's meaningful. You put love into what you work on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I bet years ago I used to trim this lady up the road, her horse and stuff. She had two little kids, and she had it wasn't a horse, it was a pony, and I'd bring her a bag of grain and I would come and trim her horse up, and then she would come over once a month and her and her daughter would clean my house.
That's perfect. That's a perfect trade. Yes.
Yeah, and it worked out good because I'm not a good cleaner, and she was, and she couldn't trim her pony, and the grain was it last her all month, so it was really good. Either it worked out for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we got an old picture, and this one says Kaping and wife Ja Ro, um, Pueblo Indians, Garden of the Gods, Colorado. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, she has jewelry on too, bones and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, these Indians are the first ones I find that have a lot of jewelry. The other ones
Okay,
not
gotcha.
not not so much.
Maybe
That
they're
I
more modern or something. That would be interesting to look up.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I like the older pictures because the old pictures like this, you get a better sense of things than you do, the modern pictures. But see, she's got jewelry on too. You could tell these guys are dressed up for the picture too. So
Hmm.
yeah, that
And
that
their
kind of,
clothes look like they're colorful too.
yes, they do. It's probably more modern. Here's some of their designs, as you could see on those bowls and stuff. But they really have, for being back in the day, they really came up with a lot of cool art designs, you know.
And all handmade too, not made by machines.
Yes, and that means a lot too sometimes, is that handmadeness. I'd rather have somebody or something that somebody built from scratch from by hand than just go buy some Chinese piece of crap in the store that's going to last for 2 days and break.
And
Here's
again, the intentions behind it too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Here's more of the crazy house. And look at from this view, you can tell it looks like they got grass here. Can you imagine walking out of your house on your terrace and there's grass growing in your like yard almost.
On your upstairs porch.
Yeah, on your upstairs, we got grass growing up there. Look at that. Ah, that is pretty cool. That is, you can see it's all green like that. That's neat. That is neat. I'd like to see the interior of some of those, what it would look like inside. The Taos Pueblo Indians, they're more modern. You can tell that. I can tell that right off bat because they got saddles, maybe old saddles, but those are more modern. Definitely modern Indians. I would say that looks like a picture out of the 30s or so, maybe the 40s, somewhere in there. I guess.
Pretty nice saddles though.
Yes,
they're not small and they're weak. They look pretty sturdy.
Yeah, and the horses are well fed. You can tell that is not a wild Mustang horse.
Yeah, I used to have a Mustang.
Yeah, Mustangs are a lot different looking than a grain-fed horse. I guess that's the way they call them. Now, here's an old picture. Now, this is why I like to go back to the old, as old as I can get them pictures. You notice, look at these guys. They're all wearing something around by their knees. And then, I don't know what those are, beads or a bracelet around by their legs. And then they're also, half clothed. And they're carrying, this guy's got a bow and arrow or something. And this guy looks like he's got a knife. This looks more authentic type Indians. That would be, they're not all clothed up. That was a more modern thing, clothing. And they're barefoot too.
I'm curious if the things on their legs have to do with like some type of, like they make noises when they do their dances when they do their rituals.
Yeah, there might be bells of some sort or shakers or something.
Possibly.
Yeah. I wish it was a better picture, but you can only blow it up so much. Yeah. But
interesting.
Definitely see this guy looks like he's got some kind of a paddle.
It's ready to spank somebody.
Yeah. Interesting people they are. But yeah. Few feathers. Not much for jewelry on these guys. Painted up. These guys got painting on them. Interesting. Here's one of those bowls we can see up close. Ain't
I
that
want
pretty?
one.
Yeah. I don't know what I'd do with it, but it would be pretty to have.
Put some flowers in it.
Yeah, it looks like birds, doesn't it? What do you see?
I do. It kind of looks like a quail with extra feathers on the head, like a bird. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. It looks like this is like a snake over here. I don't know what this thing is, but yeah, very, very interesting picture. I mean, for being hand done, these are look at how they're almost identical from one to the other. And the swirly. And look at this is a upside. If you turned it upside, and here's a bird, and there's a bird.
Oh yeah,
I didn't realize
even notice that.
That's like the yin and the yang. Oh
yes.
man. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. See, that's I said. I love looking at these older pictures or these kinds of things just to, because no matter which way you turn it, there'd be the bird looking at you. Oh.
There's always meaning behind the art.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go on. Here we go. This is Pueblo Indians, a family group. And see, this is definitely an older picture. And you could say this is like a ram's head. You can see the horns. A deer head is his homemade pitchfork made out of wood. I've seen these before. It's just a branch split into 3 pieces. He's got his black powder rifle and his shield, his powder horn here hanging on him. Some more of these bowls and pottery things.
She's down there doing laundry. Things never change, do they? Just
kidding. Yeah, either she's making
maybe bread. Yeah,
or exactly. Big paddle. I don't know what the big paddle's for. Was it
for the water? Probably.
That could be. Definitely interesting.
Or to whack somebody in the head with it, you know.
Yeah, I think it's more, oh, I bet you that's the thing for the cooking, the bread thing. We're gonna get to that in a
Oh,
second too, where they got the big paddle. Oh, here's more cliff dwellings. This is quite the,
that is cool.
isn't that pretty?
That's cool.
It almost looks fake because it's so far down below. But under the big cliff, and you can imagine being back in those days, living under a giant cliff. Yeah,
That's cool. I would love to live under that.
yeah, you know, yeah. And it's a good thing they already built their places there because some corporation would come in there and build a hotel and everybody would go, oh, look, go to the hotel under the cliff. It's the best tourist
Yeah.
attraction ever. Here's here's another one of those old pictures, and you can tell this is an old picture. He's got moccasins on. He's got the flintlock rifle, you know, or the black powder gun here. Here again, she's got jewelry on. You know, I would say this is early or late 1800s probably. Early mid probably 1870, 80, somewhere in there, because of the material, the clothing they're wearing. Something like that, I would say, because that looks like, you know, that's actually clothing. So, you know, and see, she's got bracelets on and a belt, and yeah, she's got lots of jewelry on.
They like to make themselves look nice.
Yeah. Here's a guy, it looks like he caught a rabbit. You know, most of those Indians actually did live on small game. They didn't hunt buffalo all the time. Most of the time, a small game.
They ate what they needed.
Yeah, well, you couldn't keep the big stuff.
They didn't have refrigerators.
Yeah, and where do they live? New Mexico, Colorado area. Well, it's hot down there. Arizona.
Under a cave. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you're living out in it's 90 degrees during the day. You shoot something, you better cook it up right away. By tomorrow, it'll be rotten. Bugs will be on it. Yeah. Here's an old picture. Now they use the Navajo to become scouts a lot because they were pretty passive people, so they weren't so much fighters, but they employed the Navajo people or the Pueblo, I should say, the Pueblo people into being scouts for the army to find other Indian tribes or fight the Apaches or fight, you know, another group of Indians. And the Indians did this a lot because they were wronged by a lot of the other tribes. The tribes were always warring. So the white guy, you know, the general or the commander, whatever, lieutenant, whoever it was, would come in and he would say, you know, I'm going to give you these guns, and then you're going to be outfitted better than your enemy, and you can go kill your enemy. And they were all about warring with each other. So it was like, great, you give me a gun, I'll go kill my enemy, and I'm on board. Let's go.
Some of them were forced to too.
Yes, but a lot of
but
them
yeah, both and
yeah, but they made good scouts because, you know, they could track and they could you know, they looked they knew the wilderness way better than any white guy did. But
yeah,
nice bunch here. They're all outfitted, and I got some more, and they got uniforms here. These guys got uniforms and everything.
that makes me sad.
Yeah, they you know, got rid of their regular, but they kept like their bonnets and stuff, or their hats or head wraps or something like that, you know. But you can just tell the difference between like how the white guy, you know, would be outfitted, and then he's got his group there. And this guy here, he don't have on he's got his regular shirt on. But they got these, look like black powder rifles or Spencer single shots. I think that was a Spencer rifle, the single shot, big bullet, one shot, breech loader. That's what I'm thinking of, breech loader.
Is that the one where they stick the thing in the end of it, like I don't know how to explain, like they stick the tube in the end of the gun to shove the gunpowder in there?
Yeah, that's
the one shot.
Yeah, that's a black powder rifle you're talking about, black powder. That's kind of what these are here. It looks like this could be a black powder rifle. This one definitely is a black powder rifle, but some of the guns were like, they were single shots where this big lever would pull back, or there would be a thing on here you could pull out. One bullet would go in and you could shoot one bullet at a time. And that might be what these are, because see, they got bullets on their sides. So this must not be a black powder. You just put, it was just a big single shot that shot a big caliber bullet, but not a repeating rifle. There you go. And you know, they joined the military to fight the other Indians. And here's one. Now that guy looks like that might be a black powder gun. I'm not sure, but can't see him that good. And he's got his fringe on, fringe jacket. Interesting. Here's another group, and they definitely got the single. That's definitely a single shot gun they're outfitted with. Cherry group.
Armied out.
Yeah, it is. You know, I found more pictures of military guys from the Pueblo Indians than I did any other tribe. So that was one of the interesting things I found.
Did you happen to find like if they were like the most despised of the Indians or anything like that? Or
no, they were not. I think a lot of the other Indian tribes did a lot of trading with them, because these guys did a lot of the you know, growing of the crops, and the other Indians were pretty much nomads. So like they would trade them for things that they needed. And these guys kind of stayed put, you know, they were the traders and the you know, whatever. They didn't move around a lot. They weren't the horse riding guys. So they had, and as you can see with this picture, they had dogs. Put your travoy on there and your dog pulls it around. You know,
so they were more the gatherers.
Yeah, they were hunter gatherers and versus nomads on you know, traveling. And I found
look at the doggies. Kind of looks like your doggy.
Yeah, yes, it does. And they did.
Different color, but
found a lot of pictures where they had dogs with these travois on, and not so many where they were riding horses, where all the other Indians that I've ever done always had tons of horses and teepees, and they were nomadic riding. You know, these guys, not so much. They had dogs. I found a lot of dog pictures. I did find horse pictures, you know, too. But look, I thought this one was cool because look at, they got like this little cage for the kids. Here, you know, we'll put the travois on a horse, and here we go, you know.
That's cool.
Kids, there's your safety seat. Stay in the cage.
That's the old school stroller.
Yeah, there you go. But you know, again, there they got stirrups on, so I know that ain't terribly old, but then you know, but anyway, that's kind of cool. Here more dogs. First I thought, wow, little bitty horses, but these are dogs. Look at that. That's a
It
big
did look
ass
like
dog.
a baby horse.
Yeah, it's a big dog.
Yeah.
And you can see these guys are bundled up. They got lots of layers on. It must be cold, must be in the winter or something, because they got lots of layers on. You know, jackets and the whole 9 yards. So that was interesting. And here, this is a dance, of course. Look at, they all got gourd rattles, you know, gourds. Definitely for sure. And oh, here they got them things on their legs again, bells or something, or something, all on their legs. So yeah, there they go. They're painted up. What else we noticed? All of them got feathers. A lot of painting going on. Yeah, front of the adobe huts. Cool. Oh, more cliff houses.
Ooh, look at the rock.
Yeah,
It's
ain't
cool.
that pretty? Oh yeah. I would love to go out there and just go see one of those places. That's on my bucket list. Yeah.
It's easy to find. It's everywhere around here. Well, maybe not like that, but
Yeah. But they're out there. Yeah, it's on my bucket list. And those are pretty neat. Oh yeah, tourists. The tourists get to at least go up there and check it out. That's what I want to do. I want to check it out. Still don't know what they do with these big giant round things. That would be
Yeah, because the people are decent, like they're not that much bigger, they're smaller than those circles. I wonder what those circles are.
yeah. Storage
That's what
bins,
I'd be
maybe?
interested in, is researching what like the clothes mean, because everything means something to the natives.
Yes.
And whatever, just what all this means, like what they used it for, would be really cool.
Yes, exactly. What did they do? You know, it's still like, why did they build under a cliff? You know, what was the point of doing that? And if these were grain bins, why were the grain bins out front and not in the back? You know, why would you put the grain bins out where the rain could hit them? You know, were these things here to capture water, maybe coming off the cliff?
That's what I was thinking, like a hot tub. I mean, obviously it's not a hot tub,
Yeah,
but maybe it is to catch water.
that could be, because see, the cliff kind of ends right there. Then the water would come right down in the front. You know, because they say, oh, these would be grain. I've read where these could be like granaries, you know, like a silo would be for a farm. But if that's a silo, why would you have it right under the cliff area? Why right in front where all the rain's going to hit it? I would put my silo in the back to keep it safe. If you got invaders coming, you know, if this, like they say, oh, the invaders would come, why would you put your grain out in front of your house? The
Yeah, that
invaders would
doesn't
just
make sense.
come and get the grain then. Still don't make any sense. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Here we go. Here's an old one. Lady with a pot on her head, and then here's a, you know, older man, older white man. Not too clear of a picture, but anyway, more adobe houses. Just love getting these old. I love the old pictures. You can tell. These ladies got beads on, lots of beads, trinkets, jewelry stuff.
Another thing with the pots is it's actually, I mean, maybe not as heavy as they used to use, but I had a chiropractor many years ago. He's still my chiropractor. I've been seeing him for 20 years about.
Yeah.
He's great. I trust him. Not all chiropractors are to be trusted, but he would tell me because I have a broken vertebrae in my neck, and also instead of having that normal C curve in your neck, mine's going the opposite way.
Oh.
And so I have a lot of issues with my upper body and stuff. And he told me to put like a really heavy book on my head and walk around with it, you know, like they used to do in the old days.
Yeah.
For posture and stuff. And so that would actually, I'm sure they didn't do this for that, but it would actually be good for them. You know, it would strengthen their spine and correct their imbalances and stuff.
They were probably doing it without knowing it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And then they could, you know, hold their babies and do other things while they had their pots on their heads.
Yeah, that's true. Look at this lady. She's just standing there with the pot on her head. Too.
Yeah.
That's weird, but still. Here, let's take a picture. Put your pot on your head and stand still for 20 minutes. Oh, I'm so crazy. And here's more of them. Tourists getting off the train. Here, let's bring our pots, put them on our head, and want to buy some stuff. You know.
They're little.
Yeah, that's just crazy, isn't it? The pot on your head. I mean, for them it's normal, but for us, you know, look at this guy here in his city slicker suit, you know.
Look at the different, it's almost Photoshop looking, because look at the white guy in his suit and how gray he looks compared to the faces of the other natives. Yeah. They have, you know, like it's almost interesting. It looks like it's Photoshopped almost.
Well, I think this is one of those pictures that they take and then it's black and white and then they added color.
Gotcha.
So they never come out quite the same, but it gives you that realistic feeling of what it would kind of look like, you know, so I like that part. And it's probably done with a computer anyway, because you can see like this lady here, she's definitely black and white. And that gray, probably they just left it, but you know, because like his suit over here is kind of black and white. I don't know how they do that with that adding it, but it is kind of interesting. Yeah, here's more. They always got these nice Navajo. I love those Navajo blankets. I always buy them up and then use them with my horse when I go riding and stuff. You know, it's cool. They're
It's a
I
good
like 'em.
barrier.
Oh, I love it for throwing them in the back of the couch or something. You can make an old junky couch or piece of furniture look really cool. And here's another adobe building. I thought this one was just kind of interesting. And here's one of those Photoshop color pictures, but I thought this was kind of cool with the burros and the kids riding. As you can tell, they're just, you know, riding the burros. Not horses, but burros. And here's the conquistadors coming along to conquer the Indians. And you can see he's got his hard helmet hat on, and they got a troop of horses, burros in the back, things like that. More pots with pictures on them. And like you said, the pictures always tell some kind of story, but I don't know what they're telling, but they're telling something. Interesting. Here's a peace pipe, you know, a smoking pipe. And this is a antler from a deer horn. I read that before. How do I know to know that? But when I was doing the picture, I thought, oh, I got to have that one. It's a deer antler and probably a stick of some sorts. And these look like bells on that thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I thought
I like that. I would definitely smoke something out of that pipe.
yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, they had all kinds of stuff, you know. Oh, this is where we got with the big round thing. Remember we seen that in front of the house? And I
Oh,
thought,
yes.
that's their oven.
Mm-hmm.
And this wooden stick, remember that big paddle? That's what they use this for. This is where they put the bread in there, and they use that to take the bread in and out of there. And there's that paddle again. They put the bread in, it cooks, and then they bring it back out. And you can see this is just a big oven. And how do they make the oven work? Here's more bread in there, and they got a little door you put on there and cooks the bread. This is a great way, you know, if the world ever goes to crap, this is kind of a thing you know, a person could do and cook your food. You burn the fire in your oven. It heats up the rock and the clay to a really hot temperature. And then, of course, what do? You put your bread in, and then because of the rock, it cooks your bread inside there. You shut the door, and the heat's held in there by all the rocks, and cooks your bread nice and slow. Ain't that cool?
Yeah, there's different YouTube channels that shows how to do that. Obviously, they make it look easier than it is, but
Yeah,
it's doable. It's definitely doable.
just a little more modern one. You got a little dial up here and stuff, but the principle is the same. There's your big paddle, and then your bread. And these guys are using pans to put the bread in, but the principle is all the same. You know, you put the dough in the hot oven after you fired it up, and then you pull out your bread when you're done with your big stick. Huh. It's pretty darn neat. Yep. But anyway, that's what I got to share with you all tonight on the Pueblo Indians. Just Pa Joe says, like a wood-fired pizza oven. Yes, a wood-fired pizza oven. Mary Wins is in the house. Regine Hutchelson, Pa Joe came to join us. Thank you all for coming. Blah, blah, blah. Anybody else? Elderberry's in the house too. Anyway, I got one story for you tonight. Since David isn't here, got one story. And then Amber, would you by chance be interested in pulling the card for tonight? David always pulls a card for us for whatever,
Yeah,
could
that'd
you
be
do
cool.
that? Would be really cool, and I'll get started with the story. And if I'm sure you got to go get cards, or unless you got them right in
Yeah.
front of you. But
I don't.
I figured you probably didn't have it in front of you, because I was just thinking, well, David always pulls a card for us at the end of the show, and we'll keep on with that tradition we could. But if you want
Okay.
to go get your cards, and I'll start reading my story here for everybody.
Perfect.
All righty, everybody. We got a good story for you tonight. No disappointing for the story. Actually, we might actually have two, but this one's really short. It's called The Stone Moving Song. Okay. The Stone Moving Song. This is a Pueblo Indian story. So there you go. And this is out of an old book. And if you want the PDF for this, just let me know and I'll send you the whole PDF for this book. And you can read all the stories you want. The Stone Moving Song. The horned toad is also a famous musician, a sort of Pueblo Orpheus, whose song charms the very stones and trees. Short folk story of Istella refers to this. One day, Okoliki Rade was, and I'm sure I said that wrong, anyway, was working in his field. There were many very large rocks, and to move them, he sang a strong song as he pulled. Ya hey, hey ya hey na, ya hey, hey na, wa na iki ya hey wa ne da, ya ka wi ya da ya je wa ya vi que ya hui. When he sang this and touched the heaviest stone, it rose up from the ground and went over his head and fell far behind him. While he worked so, two Wahedi came along, and seeing what happened, he wished to meddle, as his way is. So he said, "Friend, Rade, let me do it." "No, friend," said Horned Toad. "It is better for everyone to do what he knows, and not to put himself in the work of others." "Do not think so," answered the coyote, "for I can do this also. It is very easy." "It is well then, but see that you are not afraid, for so it will be bad." Tuwane Day lay off his blanket and took hold of the largest rock. There was and sang the song. When he sang, the rock rose up in the air to go over his head, but he, being scared, ducked his head. Then at once the rock fell on him, and he had no bones left. Then the horned toad laughed and gave the enemy war whoop, saying, "We do this to one another." And that was the short story. See, don't ever take on a job that doesn't belong to you, because you might get all your bones crushed. I'm going to do this next one here too. I hope you all answered that or like that one. Okay, the coyote and the thunder knight. You get two for the price of one tonight, guys. Okay, the coyote and the thunder knight. Another Isella myth tells of an equally sad misadventure of the coyote. Once upon a time, an old coyote father took a walk away from home, for in that season of the year, his babies were so peevish they would not let him sleep. It happened that a locust was making pottery under a tree, and every time she moved the molding spoon around the soft clay jar, she sang a song. The coyote, coming near and hearing, thought, "Now what is this very song? I need to put my unu to sleep. And following the sound, he came to the tree and found Cheekwade at work, but she had stopped singing. Locust friend, he said, come teach me that song so that I can soothe my children to sleep. But Locust did not move to answer, and he repeated, Locust friend, come teach me that song. Still, she did not answer, and Coyote, losing his patience, said, Locust, if you don't teach me that song, I will eat you up. At that, the Locust showed him the song, and he sang with her until he knew how. Now I know it. Thank you, he said. So I will go home and sing it to my children, and they will sleep. So he went. But as he came to a pool halfway home, a flock of afraids of the water flew up at his very nose and drove out his memory. He went looking around, turning over the stones and peeping in the grass, but he could not find the song anywhere. So he started back at last to get the Locust to teach him again. But while he was yet far, the Locust saw him. So she shed her skin, leaving a dry husk, as snakes do, and filled it with sand. Then she made it to sit up and put the molding spoon in its hands, and the clay jars in front of it. And she herself flew up into the tree. Coming, the Coyote said, Friend Locust, show that song again, for I got scared and the song was driven out of me. But there was no answer. Here, Locust, I will just ask once more, and if you do not show me the song, I will swallow you. Still, she did not reply, and the Coyote, being angry, swallowed the stuffed skin, sand, spoon, and all, and started homeward saying, Now I think I have that song in me. But when he was halfway home, he stopped and struck himself and said, What a fool, truly, for now I am going home without a song. But if I had left the Locust alive and bothered her long enough, she would have shown me. I think now I will take her out to see if she will not sing for me. So he ran all around hunting for a black thunder knife and singing, Where can I find she a foon? Where can I find she a foon? At last he found a large piece of black rock and broke it until he got a knife. He made a mark on his breast with his finger, saying, Here I will cut and take her out. Then he cut. Mercy, said, but it bites. He cut again, harder. Goodness, but how it bites. He cried very loud, and cutting a third time, he fell down and died. So he did not learn the song of the pottery making. The Querés Pueblos have exactly the same folk story, except that they make the horned toad instead of the locust. The music teacher, in their version, the horned toad, after being swallowed, kills the coyote by lifting its spines. Remember what I have said of the maker of the thunder knives. You will readily see the analogy between this and the obsidian splinter of the Tiwan story. It is indeed one of the most characteristic and instructive examples of the manner in which a folk story becomes changed. And obsidian is like a volcanic glass, if you're all wondering that. And we'll have to wait till next week to see another one. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that story. Yay.
Here's a nice obsidian here.
Ooh, that is pretty. I like it.
Yeah. Shiny and sparkly like glass. Very powerful. Very powerful. This can bring out emotions in you. So if you're not ready to handle the dark night of the soul, don't get it. But it is it's good at bringing things out of you. So yeah.
Wow, pretty. I like it. It's just like I'm going to do a show this week on mirrors, black mirrors, or something like that. And
there you go.
That's almost like a black mirror, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, that is cool. That is cool. Could be some wish.
So I pulled 2, if that's okay. It's going to be fast.
Pull whatever. Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay. I'm going to read it. I'm going to keep it traditional, like you and David like to do. We'll keep it because sometimes the message is really, really nice to hear just from the book. So we'll do it that way. All right. So we got the drum. Dream the journey. The message is journey inwards to uncover insights and information that will be important for your path. Then follow the guidance. About. In shamanic traditions in all 4 corners of the world, the drum is recognized as the main tool used by medicine men and women to direct their will and aid meditation. A drum beat can become hypnotic and send those listening into an altered state that can allow them to journey to the spiritual realms and meet their guides. When the drum card appears in a reading, there are opportunities for you to dream or to bring an inner vision into reality. The extended message is, you are very connected to the other worlds at this time. The wisdom and intelligence of the earth and her magic surround you. The drum, which echoes the sound of Mother Earth's heartbeat, has cleared the cobwebs and dust from your inner vision. What you have seen in your dreams and inner vision is not imagination, but guidance, particularly if it has been coming to you repeatedly and has the potential to become reality. Dreams come true. Know it and live it.
Dreams come true.
And then the other one is mountains. So mountains, stand your ground. Message. Hold firm to what you believe in or are focusing on because it is absolutely right. Know that heaven and earth are supporting you. About. Mountains are strong and wise. They are rooted deep in the earth and reach high into the sky. They have been where they are for thousands of years. They have been home to animals. They have been climbed by humans, and they have been seen seasons come and go. No matter what has happened to them, they have remained strong, immovable, and unshakable. And so they offer the spiritual energies of strength and resilience. Extended message is mountain energy is powerful because it's firmly rooted in the Great Mother and reaches high to the Great Father. If you're feeling challenged or pressured at this time, know that your spirit is more powerful than you think. You are resilient and grounded, and the energy and air of the mountains is giving you the unshakable strength to be who you are. Take time to root yourself deeply in the energy of the earth before welcoming in energies of heaven. If you're not sure what you need to do next, the mountain card invites you to stay exactly where you are. Talk things over with those around you and know that change will come to you. You will be whole and well at the end of this current situation. And it is not, and it will not stand in the way of your future growth and expansion. That's the cards.
Wow. Mountains stand strong and follow your dreams.
Be connected to Mother Earth and Father Sky, and know that if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, that you can stay right where you are. You don't have to pressure yourself. There's no pressure, and just know that it also with the drum is if you've been having reoccurring dreams, reoccurring insights, reoccurring thoughts, then you can make that a reality, or you can change that reality depending on if you resonate with it or not. If you don't like what you've been thinking all the time or you've been dreaming about, you can change it. If you like what you've been dreaming about, you can create it. And if you're too scared to and you don't know where to go, just stay where you are until you're ready, until you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of dreams, I had a crazy dream last night. Man, something about I was back on the farm and there was a house and then somebody was in the house and I don't know I think it didn't seem like a good entity that was there. And then there was broomsticks and I was flying on a broomstick, and there was three sticks, and one was a broomstick. Something like that's what I can remember. Anyway, it was the weirdest thing, I thought.
It's interesting because I feel like, you've been for a few years now, you've been really opening yourself up to different things. And really, like, I feel like you're doing that because you've been here in this type of thing before in past lives, and you're reawakening to that magical power within you. And that's kind of like a confirmation is like, you can fly around and create things with your broomstick, like you're having an awakening, possibly.
Yeah. I definitely am. I mean, and you're right. Trina said that to me multiple times of, how I'm advancing, but, I'm trying to do the work and trying to do these things so that I can advance. Whereas, most of the people out there, they don't do a lot, at least everybody I know around me doesn't do anything for that. They think I'm nuts, but I'm thinking, but you're not learning what I'm learning. And even though I'm trying to find out information from books and videos and readings and whatever else comes along, right? The real truth is inside me. And I'm getting it through my dreams, and then I'm putting it all together. And I really do believe that if you don't know anything about something, you're not able to receive that information either. I mean, it's like if I wanted to be a rocket scientist and I started learning about rockets, then I could be that information would come to me. Whereas if I said I want to build a rocket today, that information would not come to me because I have no clue what I would be getting. Right?
Yeah, it's like you're already acclimated to it because you've already received this information before, whether in this life or a past life or many past lives. Like you already have that seed planted, that little mustard seed has already been planted. And that's why you were so attracted to all of this. And that's why you're so dedicated to this. And you're learning and you're teaching and at the same time. And you're like, it's just like this connection, you're like finding that connection that it was always there, but you've met it, you've calibrated it in this life.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you're right. And I think that's for everybody, but there's a lot of people that don't follow that. They come here and they do something else and then they don't look for anything.
Well, some people, I think, we don't know what their past lives were. We don't know how advanced they were. Maybe they're just not as advanced, or maybe that, everyone's on there, and that's okay. Like, it's that's okay.
Yes.
We try to explain it to people, like, if you just did this, but, in the long run,
Yeah, it's their own path and their own journey. But I think it's kind of like the fish swimming upstream. The fish are swimming upstream to lay their eggs or something, and that's us. And we're all swimming upstream, and there's some of the fish that never make it, but everybody's trying. But at the end of the day, a bunch of the fish find that stream at the top of the mountain or wherever they're going, and they lay their eggs and do the thing and whatever, and voila, you got more fish again. but 90% of the fish never make it all the way to the top.
And then some fish realize that swimming upstream is only harder work. So just release, let go.
Yeah.
Let go. There's more opportunities down the stream, and it's a lot easier and faster to get there.
Yeah.
You know, and some of us realize it. Some of us are willing to do the work to get there, because inevitably some people think it's like really hard to do the work. But guess what's harder? Fighting against basically what God wants us to be. You know, it's like you can't continue swimming upstream all the time expecting to have, you know, everything be easy. No, like if you just go with the flow, then things are going to be a lot easier, you know.
Yeah. Well, but then again, if you just go with the flow,
well, don't take me the wrong way. I don't mean like accept stuff and the bull crap.
People who go with the flow, you know, you have a good say I'm looking at it like this. It's like, okay, I go with the flow and I have a good life because I just went with the flow. But if I, fought the current a little more, maybe I got an extraordinary life. Versus the guy who said, I'm not even going to go with the flow. I'm just going to sit here and I ain't even going to try to swim up that stream at all. And,
there's a balance that needs to happen.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. And in any cycle or any species, regardless if it's humans or whatever, they're all striving for something. And the strongest ones reproduce and the weakest ones don't, and the weakest ones die off and the strongest ones live on for years and years. It's kind of like the big buck story. You got the big buck and he's out there, or the lion, and he fights off all the other lions for 20 years, and then he gets old, and then some young lion comes along and beats him up, and now he's done.
Yeah
And
so it's all our own experience, and that's the thing, is like knowing when to swim the current and fight for things that you want to achieve, and knowing when, it's this balance, and letting yourself just, like, it's okay, like, you know what I mean, like do what is best for you, but don't give up on yourself, you know what I mean? Like it's okay to not succeed at everything, but at least try.
And if you don't try, you're right. If you don't try, you'll never know if you could have succeeded, or if it was the right thing for you. It's like when you're a kid, and your mother says, here, eat your vegetables. I don't like that. Did you try one? No, it just looks icky.
Right.
How are you going to know that you won't love it? You've already got it in your head. I'm a failure at it. It's horrible. It's going to taste bad. And then
some things that are good for us, like vegetables, that we don't want to eat, if we didn't eat it or do it, then our bodies or our lives wouldn't get better. Like if you deny things in your life that you haven't tried, like you just said, it could be so good for you, even though it might taste a little bitter. Like you might feel like $1 million after you do that,
Yeah. I'll tell you a good one. Asparagus. You like asparagus?
I love asparagus. Yes. It hurts my stomach. I can't eat it, but I love it.
Okay. Well, when I was a kid, I hated it. My mother cooked it really bad. Sorry, Mom. She's probably watching. She watches all my shows. But anyway, she made it really bad. It was all mushy and yucky, and it was terrible. Anyway, now I found out how to actually cook it, that I like it, and I love asparagus. Asparagus
in the
is
oven.
Great. Oh yeah, I pan fry it with some butter.
Yep.
And, it's wonderful. Butter.
If you
put
it on some foil on a cookie sheet and throw some olive oil on it and some seasoning, whatever you like, put it in the oven. Super good way too.
Yeah, that I've kind of done it that way. I got one of the air fryer deals. I put it in there. But if I, and then I put sometimes I put some of that cheese sauce on it. so good. Oh, but it's things like that. I didn't like broccoli when I was a kid either, or some of these other vegetables, but now I've realized how to eat them, how they taste. And it's like, oh, this ain't so bad. I like it. Pretty good stuff, and maybe my taste have changed, but at one point or another, I had to say, wait a minute, I got to give this another try. And
that's the thing, like, don't give up on things just because maybe at one point, it was hard, but just like, that's why I kept saying, like, be easy on yourself if you're really not, like with the mountain card. I think it was a mountain card.
Yeah.
Anyway, saying that, stay where you are if you're not comfortable moving yet, but just, be willing to move eventually,
Oh yeah. Like Pa Joe says, peas make me throw up. Yeah, Pa Joe, to this day, I really don't like peas either. But you know what I do like? I love pea soup. Go figure that. Love pea soup because they're all mushed up and then whatever, and you put some spices in it. It's really good. Pea soup is good. I'll eat it. But to just take a bowl of peas and just eat peas, no, I'm passing. I had a buddy who would open up a can of peas and he'd just eat them like that just to make me ill.
That's funny. I can't think of anything I don't like, really. I kind of like, I mean, I don't eat meat and I have some allergies to certain foods, but other than that, I've always been an eater, like I like it all.
Oh, well, good. That's a good
as long
thing.
as it's cooked right,
Yeah, and that is a big thing. Cooking something right. Like you said, you're out there, you oven cooking your asparagus or something, versus, I don't know, my mother used to like steam it or something, and it was just
overcooked. Yeah.
It was just gross. It was like, yeah. Oh, just thinking about how she cooked it was bad. Sorry, Mom. Anyway. Anyhow, that's the way it goes. But anyway, we'll probably Mary Wynn says she loves asparagus, and Travis the Brick says he likes asparagus, and Mossy Man's in the house and he eats. I eat more meat than veggies, he says.
Carnivore.
Yeah, there we go. Lucky Stone says I ate 2 pounds of asparagus once, just that for dinner and my peas. Oh, yeah, terrible the next day. Yes,
I would eat a lot of asparagus, but 2 things: it kills my stomach. I think I'm allergic to it, just like mangoes. I love them both, and asparagus
are so good.
Oh my god, I love them both so much. Have you ever put lime on your fruit?
No.
You should try it. Tastes like a sweet tart. It's really good. If you put it, like any fruit, like papaya is my favorite to squirt lime on. So
really? Oh, I never thought about
really
that.
good.
Oh,
I learned it in Mexico.
Oh.
Yeah, I learned it in Mexico.
Go figure.
But yeah, I think I'm allergic to them because it feels like somebody's taken my intestines and just twisting them. But yeah, I would eat that many. I would totally gorge out on asparagus too if I could. I love it. And the second, I said there's 2 things. The second thing, the way it makes your pee smell. Oh yeah, it's awful. Yeah. Especially if you forget that you ate it and then you go pee and then you're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I ate asparagus. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Well, anyway, we're gonna wrap this up, but don't forget that Saturday is coming up. And this Saturday is a special Saturday. You know why it's a special Saturday? It's my birthday!
Oh!
I'm going to invite everybody who wants to come on. I'm going to send out a whole bunch of invitations for, but I'm going to celebrate my birthday. And since I'm all alone, I'm going to invite everybody. And
cool. I'll be there.
Just show up, pop in, whatever. It'll be just a fun day. No big subjects except it's my birthday.
Yay! How exciting!
That's what we're gonna do. Yeah, it's just a fun day. But anyway, it'll be good. It'll be a good time. So join me and Amber. You'll be there. Amber will be there, and it'll be good. And I think Nina's gonna come already. And who knows who else will show up. It'll be an interesting night. For
Sweet.
sure. Yeah, I'm getting to be old. Put it that way. Do
Yeah, we all are.
I look old? No, I still look. Yeah, what? 30?
22.
Oh, not that young. I don't think that young. I think I still look.
How about 32? How about that?
I
that.
like 32. I'll go with that. Now, so anyway, between now and then, people, catch me back on 9 o'clock every night, hopefully. And what else is there? Anyway, just go out and do something nice. Go check Amber's channel out. And remember, go do something nice for your neighbor. Wave, smile, do something nice for other people. It reflects back on you. That's the most important thing. You can't have anything else unless you're giving a little bit of yourself. So go out, people. Be the frequency you want to receive. I love y'all. See you next time. Peace, everybody.